Okay, I'm Bob Frankston, an IEEE fellow. I spoke at the this conference, ICC Asia 2017, and so I don't get the pronunciation wrong.
I'm Suman Narayan. I'm the Senior Vice President for the Semiconductor IoT and Analytics business for Cyient.
Okay, so you've been speaking a lot about neuroscience and the influence, and you appear to have a lot of background there. Can you please tell me more about your background?
I did my bachelor's in electronics, but I did my master's in EE and biomed. I just have an inherent interest in neuroscience, just because I think I'm always curious about the way the brain works. And I was reading the book by Yuval Noah and called *Sapiens*, which really inspired me to think about machines in a very similar way as well.
So you've stressed the point about how important cooperation is. One thing, from my view, of neuroscience is a lot of the processing is done locally as possible, only going to the brain as a last resort. But you've been talking about a lot going back to the cloud. Can you talk about sort of the two modes?
Yeah, so I think if you looked at our reflex mode, I can explain from that. When you touch a hot flame, for example, your hand gets out first, and that's because the spinal cord is the one that's asking you to, pull that before you feel the pain. And I think it's similar to the what I would say equated to what I see in the world, which is the edge versus the cloud. I mean, like for example, in the autonomous driving, you want to be able to make a quick decision, if something's coming to hit you, and the information in the cloud is more of like a V2X information, where you know that another car is driving at 80 miles per hour, and the red light's going to go green for you, and the car is not going to stop. So that will be more of a cloud processing. So I think there's always you need both the local information and the global information, for the lack of it, similar to how our bodies are constructed today, in my view.
Getting to more of a business question, you talked about collecting the data and who owns the data. Could you talk about what you see as the new ecology of smart devices versus proprietary programming versus data availability?
Okay. So I think what I see is that the data monetization is one of the biggest roadblocks that I see for the IoT and analytics to really take off. So if we're able to share the monetized value of data across companies, I think in a more open environment, I think that will be better. It's similar to my view, going from proprietary ISAs, instruction set architectures, to going to something standard like ARM, and going on top of that with Linux, and where everybody can benefit from the availability of a Git tree. I think that's a sort of world that we need to get in, in the data world as well, where other people can benefit and contribute back on the data world. I think might be a little far-fetched, but I think that is going to be what drives the digital economy, is where you can monetize it across many people and many industries.
Do you see protocols not just for data monetization, but also trust and ownership? Are they evolving, or are we just going blind at this point?
Yeah, I think, in my view, technology lags or leads, I should say, leads the some of the regulations by probably like 15 years or so, in my view. So I think we're still lagging in terms of the things that we have, the roadblocks that we have to get this technology unleashed. So I would say we have a long way to go from where we are today.